The customer wants to think when you leave the house, he said it's going to be £7 grand and I'm so excited, these windows are going to look gorgeous and my door and everything, yeah. Do they want one of the staff on the 4th floor ringing them 3 days later and saying, "Hey Julian, it's only Martin from Safe, so you got 900 quid? They don't, do they?
No.
What might happen if we do that?
Cancellation.
Yeah, would we all agree with that?
Yeah.
It might cancel. Okay, so the customer's looking for a price to fit. And that means your job isn't just to measure the windows, make them look nice, help them choose the colour, put the pretty bevels in. You've got to make sure that it is safe for the fitters to attend the property to fit the windows. Historically, some reps may or may not have had an issue with adding the price of scaffold to the order, for fear of maybe losing the order or fear of not wanting to explain what it is. You need to leave the customer a price to fit. And part of that is to make sure it's safe for the fitters to do the job. Who regulates how we work at Heights? Does anybody know?
Health and safety.
Yeah, Health and Safety Executive. And they give us quite clear outlines and guidelines as to what we need to do to make sure the guys are safe when they're trying to fit upstairs windows. As far as I'm aware, we haven't got David Blaine or Dynamo working for us, so we don't fit upstairs windows using just the power of thought. We need to get up there somehow. The good news for the guys that have been in the industry quite a while is some of the new access solutions are really quite flexible and really quite good. So you're now not in a position where you've just got to think about scaffold. There's various ways we can do the job. How do you decide what sort of access solution to use? Do you know what? A lot of it's common sense. But the bits that I'm going to be giving you now, that you're going to write down, and the bits that are going to help you make a decision at the house with the customer, what type of access solution to call for, guys. So the first type of access solution I want to talk about is Tetra. Does anybody know what Tetra is? Phil, you ever heard of it?
No, never heard of it.
Has anybody got Sky?
Yes.
What did the guy wear when he went up the ladder to fit the dish?
A harness.
He had a harness on, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's Tetra. And let me tell you how Tetra works. The fitter drills into the mortar, and there's 2 securing bolts in the mortar. Don't worry, we fill the hole when we've finished. And he secures himself via a harness to the wall, and that allows him to go up his ladder. This is all well and good, this is brilliant, this means we don't have to charge for a scaffold, because Tetra is the princely sum of free of charge to our customers. There's something else which might dictate that we can't use the Tetra, and I'd like to show you this. What I've tried to illustrate is what I would call a safe approach angle for a ladder. If at the front of the property there's a little wall or a little picket fence or something that is less than 2 metres away from the front of the property, what happens to the angle of the ladder?
It comes too acute.
Yeah.
It's too steep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's stay on Tetra for a minute, because we like things that are free. We can also now say that we have purchased the Tetra flat roof system. It might come as a surprise, it means it can work on flat roofs. Again, there's some specific things we need to be confident about before we can allow him to climb up on that flat roof, fasten a harness to the wall and start walking about on the roof. And it's this. There's the roof of the house, there's the garage roof, and he's trying to get to the window in the centre here. The roof needs to be a minimum of 4 metres by 2 metres. Shall I explain why? His harness is 2 metres long. So if the width of the roof was only 1.5 metres, what might happen? Fall off the edge. So if it's a minimum of 4 metres by 2 metres, he can walk 2 metres in any direction. And where's he staying? On the roof.
Yeah.
Regarding the type of roof that we will allow him to walk on, at the minute we will only allow the guy to work on concrete roofs. So if Paul came to visit me and I said, "Oh, I'm really good at DIY, Paul, I boarded that roof out myself last year," we're still not going to let him go on it. How are you going to be able to check what type of roof is on that garage, for example?
You can get in the garage and look up.
Excellent. Mr. Customer, can we just nip in garage? You just want to make sure it's... Yeah, it's fine, I boarded it out myself last year with some cheap MDF. Right, okay, we'll probably not be doing that then. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine, I can see it's concrete, no problem. We'll get him on a flat roof system. No charge to you, customer. Just coming back to the Tetra ladder system for a second. Does everybody know what I mean when I talk about a door canopy? Little canopy that comes out over the door? We're okay with him using the ladder system as long as the canopy doesn't come out more than half a metre. What might it do if it comes out more than half a metre, Alan?
The ladder, the acute angle of the ladder would be unsafe again.
Exactly. So if we're looking for a safe approach angle, we're now making it too wide. So what might he not be able to reach safely from the top of the ladder? The unit that he's working with.
Yeah.
The fitter will not carry or handle the window itself from the ladder using the Tetra system. Tetra is to be used to allow him to debead and support a window while it's being removed from inside the property by one of his colleagues. So we're at the property and we've realised neither of those systems will work. You've now got another option before you go straight to traditional scaffold. And that is a system called EasyDeck. Has anybody seen or heard of EasyDeck before?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Brilliant EasyDeck. Because what it is an incredibly safe, portable access solution. And in layman's terms, what happens is the system meets the facing wall of the property and the guy is working on a platform that is literally in a basket with handrails. And it's really clever. Because how it works is this. If there are no restrictions, the legs are fixed to the front of the basket. Can you see that? If there's a dormer or a canopied roof, we simply fix the legs to the rear and it goes over the dormer or the canopied roof. So now it starts becoming a real flexible option. But there are some criteria we need to meet when we call for EasyDeck. And I'd like to walk you through those, so you might want to take notes. The first thing is the amount of space that's required to build it. For the EasyDeck guys, you'll need to be sure that the fitters have got at least 4 metres of clear ground to erect it. So keep your eyes open for fixed obstructions like little walls or picket fences, etc. The EasyDeck's laid out flat in front of the property and then it is offered up to the face of the wall. I talked about using EasyDeck over canopies, door canopies or over dormered roofs. Here I've drawn a property looking at it side on and there's the door canopy. Can you see that? And we're trying to get to this window here. As long as the canopy does not project more than 2 metres, we can use the EasyDeck. If it projects more than 2 metres, what might it do?
The angle of the legs would be too steep. Not too, yeah, too steep.
It's going to hit them. So provided the projection of the canopied roof is no more than 2 metres, you can use EasyDeck. I told you that the platform rests on the facing wall of the property. Okay, it has protective roller bars on it. The platform, the basket, is 2 metres wide. So what's the minimum width the wall needs to be for it to rest on? 2 metres. Because if this wall finished here, the platform would be hanging over the end of the property and there'd be nothing for the roller bar to lean on. Would that be safe?
No.
No. So I need to add something to that, which is this. The wall, the facing wall that it is being offered up to, needs to be able to accommodate the 2 metre width of the platform. But the edge of the property must be a minimum of 300 millimetres away from the end of the platform. Why do you think that is?
To give it the substance it needs to.
Stability.
Yes.
And it's just a little bit of wriggle room, isn't it?
Yeah.
If the edge of the platform was trying to rest right on the corner of the property, what might happen?
Slip off.
It might slip. Now, something that we found out EasyDeck can do, which even the guys who've seen it before probably won't know. EasyDeck can work on stepped ground, provided the height differential for the legs is no more than 80 centimetres. It can work on stepped ground, and it can tolerate a gradient of 1 in 4. That's steep. That's 25%. That's you driving down a hill in your car and it's saying please stay in a low gear. I don't expect you to become land surveyors and trying to figure out the grading of some land. So if you're unsure, it's scaffold. This means that when you come to the odd property that might have a patio area that steps down from the back of the house, and you've got a window that runs across those two separate heights, the guys can put the easy deck up and work from that. If I'm Mr. Customer and someone rings me from head office and says, "Hiya Martin, we've called for scaffold, we don't need it, we'd like to offer you a £500 refund." Wow. As opposed to, "Hiya Martin, I'm calling from Safe Style, we didn't order the scaffold, please can you send us 900 quid? Which would I prefer, the first or the second call?" The first one every time. There's one last thing I need to tell you about EasyDeck. This is vitally important. How big did I say the platform, the basket is?
2 meters.
So the maximum sized unit that we can handle is 1.8 metres by 1.8 metres. You might want to write that down. The EasyDeck sizes are referring to the sealed units and not the window sizes. The window frames can be cut down and removed from the outside. Why would I say the maximum size must be 1.8 by 1.8? Bearing in mind the size of the basket, the platform.
But it's got to fit inside the basket.
Exactly.
Right.
Coming back to that phrase, wriggle room. He's on a platform that's 2 metres, and a bloody 3 metre window. It's not going to work out well for anybody, is it?
No.
Something that is interesting with the design of EasyDeck, if you look at this illustration here, can you see that the back foot is touching the floor? Can you see that the front foot is floating? That is deliberate. I've not made a mistake. This is how well thought out that system is. I've told you that it sits on the property using protective roller bars. If, God forbid, anything was to happen, like the property moved, or the roller bar slipped, the basket falls forward slightly. What engages with the floor then? The front foot. It's no longer floating, it's now stable again. How clever is that? It's obvious, but really clever. So we've talked about what we can use Tetra for, we've talked about what we can use the flat roof system for, and we've gone over some scenarios where we may want to call for the EasyDeck. So this is you as a rep. I've ruled Tetra out, I've ruled the flat roof system out, I'm pretty certain I can't use the EasyDeck. What's left now?
Scaffold.
Traditional scaffold. So what I'm going to do is just quickly bullet point for you scenarios where you must call for traditional scaffold regardless. How many variables are there when you go out to look at how someone wants to refurbish a property?
Unlimited.
Thank you. It's not one or two, is it? So you will ignore Tetra and EasyDeck systems every time we need to fit above a conservatory or a carport. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? A lot of conservatories are quite a big expanse, aren't they? You need to ignore Tetra and EasyDeck systems if we need to fit above either a lean-to or an apex roofed extension. You will need to call for traditional scaffold each time we need to fit the unit which is above the first floor level. So ground, first, anything above that, trad scaff. We will need to use traditional scaffold every time we are attempting to fit lintels or carry out building works above ground level. Why might that be?
They can do it with heavier weights.
It's all related to the weight. Some of those lintels are heavy. Some of the building work is heavy work. Don't really want to be trying to carry a lintel up a ladder. You will need to call for traditional scaffold every time we agree to fit soffits, fascias and guttering. I point out at this point, we will only agree to fit soffits, fascias and guttering for a customer who is replacing all their windows and doors. It's not something we do as a standalone installation. We will need to call for traditional scaffolding every time we are fitting a first floor bay window. And you think about what we just discussed about the size of the platform, the basket. If that window is above 1.8 metres squared, it doesn't fit in the EasyDeck platform anymore, does it? So now we have to call for traditional scaffold. If there's no way they can get it back through the property, it's got to come out the front of the property. So you call for it then. And the last point, if you're visiting a property that leads straight out onto a public footpath or causeway, traditional scaffold has got to be used on every occasion. Tetra, harness on a ladder. Tetra, flat roof system, harness system for a flat roof. Easy deck, portable, flexible, and traditional scaffold, exactly what we all know it is. Leave a price to fit, that's all I'm going to ask. But be certain that where possible, you're happy that right at the start of the process, we've tried to make the site safe for the fitters.